Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Man, a sad week 5. We lost Justin Jefferson. SleezBall here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is going to be my week 6 wide receiver tier list coming over here. Below me in the box, you'll see bye week. So Christian Watson and George Pickens are on there. You should be looking out for Deontay Johnson. Also said on the IR today that he's coming back for week 7. So that's something to think about also if he's on your waiver wire or something tonight. And T. Higgins, injury we don't know about yet. The update's not there. And Justin Jefferson, man, it looks like IR for a minute. And if they fall out of contention, there's a couple updates. I don't see that he's not going to play the rest of the year, but maybe a buy low candidate coming up here pretty soon. But let's start diving into it. Let's start balling at number 1. The only guy left chasing 2,000 yards this season. It's just stupid to watch. I mean, they're just so in sync, Tyreek and Tua. He's probably going to be wide receiver 1 for me the rest of the way with Justin Jefferson gone. I mean, I don't really see anyone keeping up with the points that he puts up weekly. I don't think it's going to be that close at all. He gets Carolina. This is another explosion game from Tyreek. I may pick him as the number 1 player, top scorer of the week yet. I'm not sure yet on Twitter what I want to do with that yet. But give me Tyreek at number 1. At number 2, rule the jungle. Jamar Chase, get silly, is back. Dude, I mean, I watched so many tweets of this guy and how open he is every time. Like, I was starting to think in my head, oh, Justin Jefferson was a way better pick, and he was, like, point-wise. But if you ever went back and looked at Jamar Chase this year, I mean, it is unbelievable how open he has been. It has just been a Joe Burrow struggle, and he's been injured, not playing the same with the heel. I mean, he looked healthier. I know it was Arizona. They get Seattle this week. Seattle's the 3rd worst versus the pass. They're at home. This is another smash Jamar Chase game, especially if T. Higgins is out again. You're going to see he had 19 targets last game, man. 195, almost 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. It's Jamar Chase time. He is back. Lock him in. Number 2 this week. I might even put him as another top scorer as well. Both, these are mixed match right now to me. At number 3, he's back. Cooper Kupp, 118 yards, didn't find the end zone, saw a massive amount of targets for his first game back. It's only going to get better from here on out. I tried to tell you guys to buy low over the time in the last couple of videos. I hope you guys did somehow, because now the explosion is here. They get Arizona, just like Jamar Chase just dropped a 47-point bomb on him. This is going to be a Cooper Kupp bomb game on Arizona. I think he has 25 plus fantasy points in this game. I think he's going to find the end zone once or maybe twice. Instant start every time he's on the field in your lap. That's a guaranteed. At number 4, Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen are clicking. Even though they lost to Jacksonville last week, they get the New York Giants this week. I mean, look what just happened with Tyreek and the New York Giants, man. He just went for 200 yards, 2 big plays. I know that Diggs doesn't carry the same speed that Tyreek does, obviously, but I mean, they're on such a, like, the 2 most in sync to me right now are Tyreek Hill and Tua and Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen. I just like, the matchups better. I think Jamar and the talent level. These 3 guys' talent is better than Stephon Diggs, but he's still right there. That's why I have him at number 4 this week. At number 5, I'm going to go against the grain. I even said, like, sit CeeDee Lamb 2 weeks ago, got bitched at for that. That was right. Niners just locked him up. But now that the press and everybody is on CeeDee Lamb this week, I think Monday night against the Chargers secondary, which is terrible, you are going to get an electric CeeDee Lamb showing finally. I hope him and Tony Pollard both wake up, because the Cowboys are going to need him to at some point here. I mean, if they lose to the Chargers, it's really going to get bad for the Cowboy fans. They're going to start going nuts. But I feel like this is a smash baller list here for CeeDee Lamb this week. I like him so much versus the Chargers. It is a smash play for me. At number 6, A.J. Brown is just straight contributing every single week now. It went from those first 2 weeks of silence, and he was getting all mad and yelling at the sideline, and you haven't even seen Devonta Smith since. And everyone was like, oh, Devonta Smith was the better pick. And I started to believe it too. And then A.J. Brown shut that up real quick. It has been nothing but the A.J. Brown show since. and it's going to be nothing but the AJ Brown show again. But he gets the Jets this week. It's why I took him out of the top 5. He's going to get sauced. This could be that moment where it is a bigger week for Devontae here. But with the way AJ Brown's producing right now, it's hard to take him out. At number 7, he's back from the bye. Keenan Allen has been on an absolute tear. I mean, his numbers are just crazy. His receptions, his yardage, even his touchdowns this year, all way higher than you thought they would be. 31 years old, still runs probably the best routes. I mean, him and Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams probably better, but I mean, at their age, it's still ridiculous at what they're doing. Gets the Cowboys on Monday night. Trayvon Diggs is out. The Niners just shredded them. I mean, this could be a smash 20-plus point game for Keenan Allen again. Almost, dude, every game could be from here on out with how much volume he sees in targets. It's crazy. But Austin Eckler will be back. I think that will, slow down their pass attack they've had a little bit because Josh Kelly's done nothing. But I still think that's not going to hold back Keenan Allen by any means. Just something I thought I'd throw in there to add to the moment. Number 8, Davante Adams. Now, last week, I was saying in the video before, it looked like he was hampered by that shoulder on Monday night. I mean, you could tell. Even when he got hit at the end, he's really slow to get up. And even in the press conference after talking with Monday Night Football people, you could tell he was like, man, my shoulder was hurting, but he grinded through it. They got the win. The Raiders' schedule is easy from here on out. And usually I would say that they play the Patriots. So usually I would say that the Patriots defense is good enough to take away at number 1. No, they're not. Not anymore. So losing Judon, losing Hernandez really hurt the Patriots defense. And it's almost a smash play every time, whoever you have against them at this point. I mean, they're in full tank mode. I mean, I'd be surprised if they win 4 games. So Davante Adams should have his bounce back game here. Raiders will be 3-3 after this week. All will be righted. Josh Jacobs will be good. I like Davante Adams at number 8 this week. He cracked into it. Here we go. DJ Moore at number 9. Off of a 50-point game last week on Thursday Night Football versus the Redskins, and he didn't step out of bounds. I swear, I watched that replay a couple of times. He could have had like 65 points, man, and 300 yards. Now you get Minnesota with no Justin Jefferson. Their pass defense is terrible. I mean, I could have put DJ Moore as a top 5 play this week, honestly. He's just as good to me as these 6, 7, 8, 9. These are all about dead even. And him and Justin Fields are clicking. Buy now, but you can't buy because they would just drop 50 points and 70 points back to back between them. You can't really buy unless you just overspend the house. But their schedule is so good the rest of the way. It is crazy. Same with the Raiders. The Raiders and the Bears, DJ Moore and Devontae have such good schedules the rest of the way. It is something you should look into if you're looking to trade for down the championship or later in the season to try and get a championship. At number 10, coming in right behind him, I am going to go with that same game here. I'm going to say that Devontae Smith bounces back this week. So most analysts and stuffs and talks I've seen about this week have him around like 20, which is really crazy to me. I don't think Davante Adams is even, considered low enough to be in the 20. Like I see him like around Mike Evans. And I know Mike Evans has been balling, but if AJ Brown is going to get Sauce Gardner, then this is going to open it up for Devonta Smith. And the Jets run D, it says that they're bad, like on paper, like if your Yahoo app open or Sleeper or whatever, it's going to show that it's green. But that's really just game scripted because the Jets offense leaves the other team on the field so much. I know they got the win last week against Denver. But still, I mean, their offense still is super sluggish. It was a Breece Hall show. Their pass game still isn't there. He couldn't even pass on Denver, which was kind of weird. I mean, I thought Zach Wilson would have a better day. He did not. Still scary. I mean, it's still really scary. I know they got a win for the Jets, but that offense is really bad. Makes that defense look worse in the front. But it should be a bigger Devonta Smith day. I have him at number 10 this week. At number 11, I told you last week you're going to see the waddle dance in the end zone. You saw the waddle dance in the end zone. You saw the bounce back. And now with even A-Kane out, I know they're going to get Carolina. You probably see a lot of Mostert in this too, and maybe some Jeff Wilson, like a blowout game. But this is the time to buy low on Waddle because their easy schedule comes to an end right here, and the rest of the way, Not like the rest of the way, but it's going to be more shootout games, I'd say, the rest of the way. The scoring will be higher, and the volume on their offense will be more because, they've been playing. I mean, look at the schedule from here. So their last games, New York, Giants, Carolina, these last two, right? Denver. Okay. They had a Buffalo game where they got beat. Tua still threw for 300 yards. He's throwing almost 305 yards average either way. So, that's a given. He's leading the NFL in passing. But now, Philly and KC coming up. So this is what I'm saying. If you can get any piece of this Dolphins offense right now, they go through the gauntlet of these next 3 games, and then their playoff schedule is golden. So things to think about with these Dolphins guys. I know you can't get Tyreek. That's, impossible. He's like the 3rd overall in fantasy as a wide receiver, which is bananas. But Jalen Waddle right now, you kind of can. So think about that. I have Jalen Waddle at number 11 this week. At number 12, it is time to find Chris Olave for Derek Carr, bro. I mean, he is too good to have the numbers that he has right now. They get the Houston Texans. Their defense is better versus the run, not as strong versus the pass. This should be a smash, smash, smash Olave game. If it's not, I'm going to start to get worried here. Like, this is almost 3 games now in a row where Olave hasn't really done a lot at all. And their schedule is so easy. So I'm really getting a little nervous here on Chris Olave. And so look at this just for a second. They went Green Bay. Okay, so he popped off his first 3 games, Tampa Bay, Carolina, and Green Bay. All 10-plus games, all 10-plus targets. Last 2 games, Tampa Bay. I told you Tampa Bay is better versus the run. They are. They're worse versus the pass. He had 0.9 points on 6 targets. And then New England, which I said New England takes away the number 1. Kind of. But, I mean, he still found the end zone. He only had 12 yards and a touchdown. But, I mean, Derek Carr has not looked as advertised at all. I mean, that injury may be hampering him a little more than they think. This should be a smash play versus Houston. I mean, I got to see him bounce back here. His schedule coming up is amazing. Jacksonville, Indy, Chicago, Minnesota, all terrible versus the pass. Another buy low candidate if you, something to think about heading into it the rest of the way. Heading down to number 13. I told you don't give up. I dropped him down last week. I knew I shouldn't have. I knew it. T-Law, Calvin Ridley, back in rhythm. They get the Colts secondary, which is trash. This is another smash Calvin Ridley game. I'm hoping that ETN doesn't take, 150 yards and 2 touchdowns again, which, hurts the wide receivers, but they still win the game. That's fine. But Ridley saw 12 targets, 118 yards, exploded all over Buffalo. Buffalo's supposed to have a way better defense than people say. I mean, think about I even said Tre'Davious White was out. Ridley was my smash play. People argued with me saying they had Poyer. They're going to bracket him over the top. No, Calvin Ridley is that good. He just had a weird in-between slump where touchdowns didn't happen in close plays. He could be having a top 5 season right now if those were all touchdowns. So I have him at 13 this week, a lot higher than most, but I've always been a lot higher on Calvin Ridley than most. At number 14, Puka Nacua. I guess you can play both Rams receivers together if you have them both. I said that it was going to happen only for the Philly game, so we'll see here. I know they get Arizona. This is another smash Puka game, smash cup game, 100%. I mean, look what Tyreek, who just played. Look what Jamar Chase just did to the Cardinals, bro. I mean, this is going to be really ugly for the Cardinals, especially with no James Conner. The problem is how long are they going to play because they could get. I mean, I don't know if the Rams are really a blowout team. Maybe I don't use that line there, but I like Puka Nacua at 14, and he is startable weekly, man. It's official now. I needed to see it. I saw it. Now he's locked in. You can start him every week. At number 15, MV Purdy. That guy loves Brandon Ayuk. So now the only like worrisome why I dropped him down, like I've seen people talk about Ayuk making it in the top 10. I do think he's a top 10 wide receiver, straight talent-wise. It's just so hard to tell who's going to pop off between these Niners. You get Debo. You get Kittle going for 3 touchdowns. You get McCaffrey with a bad game. You get McCaffrey with a big game. You get Debo with a big game. You get Debo with a small game. Like, it's just so fluctuating in and out. Like, look at this. 29 points week 1, 5 points week 2. It's like I'm saying, roller coaster ride. Week 3 had that shoulder injury. Week 4, 20 points. Week 5, 7 points. So, I mean, if you're doing the math on the up and down, this will be his bounce back game. But it's just weird. Cleveland is actually pretty good versus the pass. It's, they're number 1 right now. So he's going up against a tough matchup. But he's so hard to guard. It's unbelievable. I mean, I'm going to leave him at 15 just because I don't know who's going to hit this game. I think that Ayuk is starting to draw the number 1 like coverage now. Like, they know he's the guy. So it's going to be a little more difficult for him down the road, but I still think he's an impeccable play. At number 15, Mr. I just averaged 10 points a game every game, no matter what. DK Metcalf gets the Bengals on the road. This is a good matchup for him. But again, he falls into like that Niners category stuff. So I look at it as, is it going to be Lockett? Is it going to be DK? Are they ever going to let Jay Season figure out that he's playing on this team this year? It's very weird that Jay Season's drafted so high and the uses that he's had. I don't understand it. I can't explain it. I've talked to so many people about it. None of it makes sense. But I do think that DK will find the end zone against Cincy. I feel like he will score in this game. And his numbers on the year are straight out just 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 plus every time. Look at this. He's averaging 12, 10, 15, 10. So literally 12 and a half points a game every time. That's 0.5 PPR scoring. But he hasn't really had that big blow-up game yet. I think that big blow-up game is coming. I don't know if I'm going to say it's for Cincinnati, but I'm going to say that he is still a top 20, number 16 play this week. At 17, it's just because of the injury. I don't know yet. Amon-Ra is always top 10 for me. Let's get that straight, first of all. I just don't know if he's good off the abdomen. The updates haven't really said a lot yet. I know it's only Tuesday, but the waiver wire is tonight. You start to panic, like, by Wednesday before the Thursday game, you want to know. We don't know yet. So, I mean, the update at the moment, let me pull them up here just so I don't get it wrong. Amon-Ra St. Brown, pretty good chance to play was what I read. Pretty good. I want to know for sure. So if Amon-Ra is for sure in there against Tampa, I'm moving him into the top 10, right? I put him over Devonta Smith and moved Devonta Smith down, Jalen Waddle down 100%. I mean, he's that good. But if he's hampered by the injury or whatever it is, that's why I'm tempering him to 17. I mean, he's always a smash play. He's always a must start. I was so high on the Sun God coming in. That injury really, makes me mad because I want to see him out there the whole season balling out. At number 18, it is going to be the guy that just keeps producing. We're going to stick with the same game here. Mike Evans. If you would have told me that Mike Evans was going to do this before the season started, I would have laughed. I would have been 100% wrong. It's blown away by his numbers this season. Baker Mayfield, it's like right when you think Baker Mayfield is bad or going to do something wrong, then he goes and he does some Baker Mayfield different stuff and starts winning, and it starts, he might get a contract out of this. So Mike Evans, 15-28, 15-5. Okay, got his, Marcus Lattimore game, which always shuts him down. I said sit Mike Evans that week. Every time they play, he balls out against him. Now you get Detroit, who is hampered by 2 cornerback injuries. Another smash Mike Evans game right here, 100%. If you have Mike Evans, you're starting him no matter what in this game. Detroit, this should be an eat-em game, high scoring, actually. And I think Tampa has a chance to win here, especially with Bland and Gardner out. This should be a monster. Even Godwin. Like, I like this game a lot. I don't like Rachaad White in this game. I like Detroit's run D a lot. Aiden Hutchinson and McNeil are very nasty in the middle. Their D-line's very good. Their secondary is not. But if Tampa's O-line can hold up long enough, hit a chip block with Otten or have Rachaad White hold them, Evans and Godwin are going to be open out there 100% this week. At number 19, Mike Pittman Jr. going up against Jacksonville. I was having this conversation earlier today too. Does Gardner Minshew make the Colts receivers better fantasy wise, or does he make it worse? That was one of our big things. Anthony Richardson is more of a runner. Is going to get more running. That's why he's hurt, because he does. I've been saying it all year. He needs to stop taking these hits. But it's kind of like when you see Andy Dalton step in for the Panthers, right? You saw all the Panthers receivers just explode onto the scene. Monster, DJ Shark, Adam Thielen, everyone just popped off. Now, I'm wondering, this is what we're talking about. Is that going to happen with Gardner Minshew because he's more of a vet, knows how to pass the ball, knows how to work the offense, been there for a little bit, knows what's going on? Or is it going to be worse for them? It's kind of a one-game thing for me to see. Pittman saw 7 targets, 5 receptions, like 50 yards last game. Nothing crazy. Jacksonville's corners aren't great. Jacksonville's run D really showed up versus Buffalo. I could put him higher, could put him lower. I just don't know with Gardner Minshew at the moment. So I'm going to leave him at 19 for now. At 20, I don't know what's going on with Debo, but he's up and down, up and down, up and down all year long. It's kind of like Ayuk. I do think Ayuk is better. I said it in the draft. I said draft Ayuk in the 5th. You'll get better value than Debo in the 3rd. And that's happened. But Debo still has that opportunity to blow that 20-point, 30-point game out. I mean, I know they play Cleveland. Like I said, it's a tough matchup. But this is another breakdown for you. So just like Brandon Ayuk, right? 8 points, 19 points, 0 points, 24 points, 11 points. Always, you don't know who's going to hit. And it's just weird. You're not going to get both of them getting 25 and Kittle getting 0. It's so spread out, and Purdy is distributing it everywhere. It's amazing. It's an offense that you just can't stop right now. But it does hurt the value of everybody on the team because you don't know who's going to have that game. I mean, if you'd have told me Kittle was having 3 touchdowns against the Cowboys, I'd have laughed. I'm like, no, okay. And he did. So, I mean, that is the hard part with the 49ers offense and the receivers at this moment. At 21, I just get targets, but not in the end zone. Flowers. I mean, his targets are insane, man. He is almost averaging 10-plus targets a game as a rookie, and still has not found the end zone yet, hasn't had that big game. I mean, let me break this down for you real quick. So 25, 29, 40 targets. He's at 8.5 targets per game, okay? Still hasn't broken 80 yards. Still sees a couple, swing around carries here and there, 1 carry a game or 2 carries, sometimes depending on the game script, whatever's going on. Now they get Tennessee. Tennessee's pass defense is terrible. I want to see the bomb Flowers touchdown, please. One time, 40-plus yards. I don't know, get him on a screen, get him with some yak. This guy is so hard to tackle. And it's just right there. It's right on the cusp of breaking. It's just got to happen for me to move him up. I still have him at 21 right now. I love the matchup versus Tennessee, especially DFS, cheap prices, everything. I'm really high on Zay Flowers this week. He just hasn't found the end zone yet for me, man. So I can't do it until he finds the end zone for me. At 22, super hard. Super hard to play against the Niners. I mean, look what we just did to CeeDee Lamb. I say we. I'm a Niner fan. Amari Cooper gets the Niners. We don't even know if Deshaun Watson is playing yet. I could have left him off, but I'm gonna put him on there just because he's Amari Cooper and he's that good. But it's a tough one for me. I'm not as sold on Amari this week versus the Niners as most are, but I am gonna leave him at 22. I'm thinking about moving him, but I'll leave him at 22 for now. So here it is. I mean, this is the game. I've been down on Zach Wilson a lot. Or not Zach Wilson, Garrett Wilson, because of Zach Wilson. So, yeah, I've been down on both. But the thing here is you get Philly, man. Philly's secondary can be smoked. It just depends on if Zach Wilson can get him the ball. I mean, it was the same thing last week. I mean, Denver could have been beat. Didn't get him the ball. Zach Wilson didn't have a big game. It became a Breece Hall game. I don't think that's going to happen at all versus Philly. I mean, you're not going to see Breece Hall do much against Philly's front 7. But, I mean, this is a Garrett Wilson game. I would have him higher. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers was there, he'd probably be 3, 4, 5 up there with CeeDee Lamb. It's just rough. You don't know what Zach Wilson you're going to get. You don't know. It's too hard. This is why I was kind of saying sell now on the Jets, but I know Breece Hall had that big Denver game, so everyone's all excited. I still don't think Breece has a big year, man. So that's my opinion on that. Garrett Wilson at 23. He could explode. He could not. It's so hard to tell with Zach Wilson. It drives me nuts. It's like if anyone says they know what's going to happen with the Jets, they don't. Besides, the running back last week with Breece Hall in Denver. That's the only thing I could call, and I nailed that. I was like, Breece Hall's going to pop off. Start him plus 20. Got plus 20. I don't know with Zach Wilson how it's going to go. 24. Found a little rhythm in DeAndre Hopkins last week though. I know most people don't really watch much Titan games, me included. I've probably seen like 2 games in the year. I do watch a couple highlight reruns and, video reruns because I watch people's Twitters and stuff like that when I'm watching it. But if you would have said last week, and I'm going, here, tell me DeAndre Hopkins numbers, man. Or how many targets did he get? What happened? Like, that's DeAndre. I don't watch the Titans. That's pretty much what happens. Listen to his numbers last week in a game where it was actually not bad. So, Indy, they barely lost by a touchdown. DeAndre Hopkins had 11 targets and 140 yards. And that 19 points. So, I have no problem starting DeAndre Hopkins against Baltimore's secondary, who's bottom of the barrel, like 10th or 10th worst versus the pass. They still got a couple injuries coming back healthy. We don't know yet if they're going to make it back for this week. But if they lose this game, I think DeAndre Hopkins may be a trade target for the Titans, and then that would be huge for DeAndre Hopkins. So what I'm looking for here, if I'm, don't own DeAndre Hopkins, is if he has a bad game here versus Baltimore, like 6-7 points, and that owner's already mad, right? Because he only has 6, 8, 10 in that big game. Boom, that 140-yard game. You could get him on the cheap, and what if he goes to the Chiefs? Or what if he goes to the Ravens? What if anywhere he goes, he is an absolute superstar? The Titans offense is just killing his career right now. He still had a decent game last week. I don't see that happening weekly. But if he gets moved, man, DeAndre Hopkins, I'm on that. So, another sit-em this week. I'm going to tell you ahead of time before I go to my last one. Nico Collins. I said sit him last week versus Atlanta. I'm going to leave him right there in the center on the bar. He's going to be another sit him this week for me versus New Orleans. Terry McLaurin, I'm going to leave here as a sit him as well. Now, Chris Godwin, I couldn't decide right here. So I'm going Tyler Lockett, both at the end here. And I'm going to grab Chris Godwin here because both their matchups are solid. You get Tyler Lockett is going to get Cincinnati and Cincy, weaker pasty, just like I was saying with DK Metcalf. Again, you don't know who's going to pop off. DK's been definitely consistent. Tyler Lockett's been up and down. And you get Chris Godwin versus Detroit, like I said, with Mike Evans, who have both their corners out. So I don't know which one I would pick out of these two. If I had to pick one and I was to say start him over the other, it would probably be Tyler Lockett, because I think he could get the deep ball versus Cincy or something like that and get ahead or get behind the defense. Cincy's corners aren't as good, but neither are Detroit's. So, yeah, I'm fine starting either one of them. I like them both at 25. It is a little insight. I am going to sit Nico Collins and sit Terry McLaurin again, just so you know ahead of time. I will be posting it on Twitter later, but that is what I'm saying for that one. This is my top 25 wide receivers heading into week 6 tier list. Remember, guys, Christian Watson and George Pickens on a bye. Remember that Deontay Johnson, if he is on your wire, something to look at. T. Higgins, we don't know. So T. Higgins, I would move in here. So we don't know if he's playing yet or not. It says good, hopes to play. So I'll move him out of the injury box. We don't know yet. If he is healthy against Seattle, you're going to move him in the top 20. I'd put him over Pittman and Debo, so waiting for the update on that. He could be playing. I do like T. Higgins in the top 20 if he's out there and playing. And Justin Jefferson, Ben, I don't know what to do with him. I don't really know if you could sell him to a guy that's high, maybe, if they're 4-0 or 4-1 or 5-0 or whatever it is, hoping that you can get a little bit of value back. But the risk of what if the Vikings go 1-7, trade Kirk Cousins? We don't know anything that's going to happen. It's so speculative right now. So I feel so bad for Justin Jefferson owners. I own him in one league too. I don't know what to do. So that is it for my wide receiver tiers, guys. The Titans are next, and then the defense and the kickers. And then tomorrow will be my stardom sit-ems. Thank you guys for watching. If you like the content, as always, scroll down below, like and subscribe, help your boy out. If you have any questions, I'm here to help you with whatever you want. Rosters, trades, lineups, dynasty, redrafts, fab, whatever it is for waiver wire. Any questions you have, fire them away, and I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Peace.